This video is meant to be a companion video to our 5-minute review of our Morocco tour with Exoticca. We'll be focusing on our time in Marrakesh, which was the first and last stop on our tour. We'll share with you things you can do in the limited spare time you have, what was included in our tour, and general information and tips that will help you get the most out of your stay here. For an overview of the tour or detailed information on other stops, check out the links below. In Marrakesh, we stayed at the Palm Plaza Marrakesh at the beginning and end of our trip. The hotel was near the airport and was actually very nice. Our room was good, clean, and updated. The hotel had a pool that was clutch since the temperature was over 100 degrees every day. It also had a little grill where you could get lunch and drinks. There was a sports bar at the hotel. Not all the hotels we stayed at had a bar, and alcohol is not easy to find in stores, so if that is important to you, keep that in mind. Breakfast and dinner were included in our package, and both were served buffet style in the on-site restaurant. The food was actually pretty decent. The location was in a suburb, it was close to a mall and nightclubs, and I felt safe walking around the area even after dark. We did not go in the nightclubs, but they did look pretty fun. The drawback is it was further away from the Medina, and you will need to take a cab down to explore on your own. We will talk about the Medina next in the video. The Medina was definitely a highlight for us. We arrived on a Sunday and went down in the evening on our own to explore, and I'm so happy we did, as it was a totally different vibe at night than when we saw it on our tour. A heads up on the transportation. It can be a little challenging. The hotel arranged for a cab to take us down and told us it would be $5. It ended up being $15. Chalk it up to a tourist tax. At the end of the evening, the square was packed with people and getting a cab was chaotic. We ended up walking a couple blocks away from the crowd in the direction the cabs were coming from, but the cab ride home was over $30. Again, tourist tax. When we first got there, we roamed the main square. There were a lot of vendors for food and trinkets, and of course, the snake charmers. My wife about had a heart attack when I handed over my phone to the guy to get good pictures. I'm not getting near those snakes. For about $10, he got up close and personal with a cobra. Photos came out great and I got my phone back, so it was well worth the $10 for the footage. After wandering for a bit, you could hear the call to prayer from one of the mosques, which was cool as I'd never experienced that. We wandered through the market, or as I refer to it, the bazaar. This is a large area where it is easy to get lost. We made sure not to go too far in and kept our path pretty linear so we didn't have any trouble finding our way back to the main square. We did go through these areas with our guide on our official tour, but there was not really time on the tour to leisurely take your time and go through the shops. He would let us go in if we wanted, but there were other things to see, so we were kind of on a clock. That's the benefit of going down on your own. You can go through at your own pace. Now let's talk about the tour. We started at the main mosque off the square. That's where we met up with our guide. Our guide was knowledgeable and good in a lot of ways, but not very friendly. It may have just been his style, or he could have been having a bad day. I'm a curious person and love history and learning about other cultures, so I tend to ask a lot of questions. At times he seemed really annoyed, almost insulted by innocent questions like, "That's a beautiful building. Do you know what that is?" It made us uncomfortable, so we actually ended the tour a little early and opted to make our way back to our transfer on our own. That aside, it was still a good tour. Now is probably a good time to mention Exoticca subcontracts their trips to tour companies inside the countries you are visiting, so your results may vary. The issues we had here we did not experience in Egypt, and in the grand scheme of things, were not bad enough for me to recommend against the tour. I still definitely recommend it. Moving on, we started at the Bahia Palace. This was a very cool place to walk around. Each of the entryways and alcoves were elaborately decorated. The mixtures of tiling, wood carvings, ceramic designs was incredible. So much detail. Our guide did a really good job of explaining everything and was patient as we took our time to appreciate the massive amounts of incredible craftsmanship and artistry. Be sure to look up when you're going into places with high ceilings. That is where some of the coolest stuff is. Places of note here included a traditional Moroccan hammam. This is a large courtyard with a fountain in the middle. The whole thing is tiled which is really impressive. In the middle, there is a fountain which at times is used for ritual cleansing. Another cool area is a courtyard with lots of fruit trees. Our guide explained many of the trees were brought in from other countries. After the palace, we went through the bazaar again. It's not as crowded during the day, so it has a different energy. You can see some of the craftsmen making the goods that are being sold. We were able to see a very interesting man working on tiles with cats all around him, including in his lap. Our next stop was the Ben Youssef Madrasa. It was a school for 4 centuries, attended by students in various sciences and fields from all over the world. Like the palace, the entire complex is full of intricate tiling, ceramic decoration, and carved wood. I love that we had time to walk through this place on our own, exploring rooms and appreciating the craftsmanship. We could not get over how small the doors were. The rooms the students stayed in were pretty small as well. This also has a very impressive courtyard with a water feature. All around this courtyard are cool rooms. Take the time to explore them. Also, look up at the walls in the courtyard that are covered with tiles. You can see the tiles well from some of the second floor windows. After the tour, we stopped for a drink and told the guide we would make our way back to the pickup point on our own. We walked through the marketplace and back to the main mosque. The next morning, we were picked up at the hotel to make our way to our next hotel in Fez, but that will be a different video. Marrakesh was a really cool city. We enjoyed our time here and is one of the places I would love to visit again. If you would like to see more of our trip, check out our companion tour videos of the cities we visited. Better yet, reach out and take advantage of our complimentary trip planning. Our suppliers like Exoticca match their online pricing for us, and it helps support this channel. Thanks for checking out this episode of 5 Minute Review. If we've inspired you to travel and you're not already working with a travel professional, consider giving our team of experts an opportunity to help you plan your next great adventure. We don't charge for our planning services, and our suppliers match their online pricing. If you're enjoying our videos, give us a like below. Better yet, subscribe so you can stay up with all the latest content. Until we see you again, travel and be well.